How you doing? Buggy, buggy, buggy. Hi, honey. You okay? What was that? Hey guys. As you can see, for starters, it's not perfect, but she's looking better. Rib cage is filling out. Sapphire's eating. She's really getting back to it, so that's good. Um, Speaking of her and Ponie, I just figured I'd give you guys an update on well, just everything that happened, and for those that don't know their story, ladies. Looks like you're stuck with me, so I'll make it fast because there's a lot less entertainment when they're not around, right? um, so Ponie and Sapphire came to us last August 17th. We got them from another wonderful organization called the Mia Foundation. The Mia Foundation got them as part of a group they called the Baker's Dozen, which was 13 of these little urchin alien-looking things. From a lady who had passed away, who stepped in and had been a good Samaritan, trying to save them from these pet shops where they would breed them, and then when they were done, they just shove them up on the shelf in like a hamster cage. Word got out. This lady started collecting them. I don't want to say collecting; that's a bad word. She started saving them. From what I understand, though, and this is not throwing anybody under the bus, she lived in a very small, confined spaces. She did personally. I believe she was a smoker. This is leading into where we're going with this. This was a conversation I had when Sapphire started first getting sick. So anyway, the Mia Foundation would gladly took them in, but they specialize in birth defects, and they're very good at what they do. So if any of us get too far outside of our demographic, we start finding ourselves in a position where we can't control the situation, where things aren't run as ideally as possible, and therefore those that we do help aren't getting the best care possible. So she asked if I could help out along with many of her other fosters. So I was very fortunate enough. I got Ponie and Sapphire, and I couldn't be happier. Ponie made my world. I often joke she looked like roadkill, and even in this hard time right now, I'm still gonna say she looked like roadkill. God, she was beautiful though, and there wasn't a day that went by where she didn't brighten my day up. But as they get older, and unfortunately, here's a warning to all you breeders out there: stop trying to create the perfect tiny little frickin' Chihuahua because it's cute, because unfortunately, there's not a lot of people out there willing to work on them. I found that out the hard way dealing with this emergency vet. So Ponie got sick a few days ago, and I started when I found out what we think is actually the problem, which is a laryngeal collapse. Yeah, laryngeal collapse. Laryngeal collapse. Excuse me. When I found out this, I started Googling and I started researching all I could on it, and then of course naturally I beat myself up because all the things it says you're not supposed to do, like you don't want them to get excited. It could agitate the laryngeal collapse is a collapse of the voice box, not necessarily the trachea. I know it's all connected, but for some reason that seems to be more acute when it's the larynx, I guess. So it says, don't get them excited. The coughing can spring it loose. And we all thought it was adorable around here. The cough is all barf, barf, barf all the time, every time you walk in the room. Barf, barf.
I always mimicked her throughout the house.
And of course, then you add to it like the excess stress and wear and tear on her body as she's sitting there trying to hump my arm, which again, I went through the whole thing of, hey, it's cute. Let her do what she wants. She's living. Well, that'll teach me.
No.
And then finally, one thing you definitely don't want, you got to keep them in air conditioning. And my room, for some reason, this big ass house with 2 air conditioning zones, catches the afternoon sun, and the temperature rises from 65, which is what I keep the house at, to 72, 73, even 74 degrees all the last couple weeks. And the night she started really coming down. When it was the first night I brought in the portable air conditioner and set it up in my room. I got a real nice one that tries to at least keep my room cooler. I know a lot of you say, well, I keep my house a lot hotter than that all the time. I don't. Okay, I do this for a lot of reasons.
It's
One,
snowing
it
in the
does
wintertime
prevent
inside.
it does prevent I believe the growth of bacteria and viruses. Just so you know, I go through a lot of lengths to make sure that doesn't happen here. We have the UV lighting controls on all of the main home units. So basically, we're killing everything as it comes through the air systems anyway. And then of course I have the portable units as well. So we're really trying to keep things from growing here that shouldn't be here. Also, I've told you guys in the past, and I'm not trying to get too sidetracked, but as it's cooler like that, the dogs have a tendency not to need, without the blankets, they have a tendency to start to huddle together. And all of a sudden, all these little squabbles that you might have, these 2 dogs out getting along, they're huddling together for a little bit of body warmth. Not enough to make it cruel or cold, but enough to make them actually get along. So everybody's so amazed at how my dogs get along so well. Well, there you go. There's one of the secrets right there. You kind of force them to. You put the environment a little bit at a disadvantage to them, just enough to make them have to work together. Call me crazy. Maybe I'm smart. Maybe I'm, just lucky. Maybe I'm stupid. I don't know. Maybe I'm off the wall. But anyway, back to Ponie and Sapphire. Or Ponie. So, 10:30 Sunday night, she literally had a half a plate of food. She was back on Fresh Pet. Sapphire's the one that has the eating problems. These two illnesses between the two are totally unrelated. I checked environmental myself and thought, wow, is there something that's making them both sick? Because it's really weird that they both got sick within a month of each other, a month and a half. But Sapphire's is definitely kidney related, whereas Ponie's was respiratory and larynx related. Moving on to the vets. Midnight that night, she starts to tank, having breathing problems. 8 o'clock Monday morning, I rush her to the vet. By 11 o'clock, my vet's saying, hey, look, she's already stopped breathing once, and we had to intubate her and bring her back. And we're afraid that if she stays here all day and she becomes oxygen dependent, we have no way of transporting her over to the care facility, which made sense. So we gotta get her emergency vet earlier than I expected. I didn't expect to transfer until 8 o'clock that night. At the worst case, I was hoping she'd get better during the day with their care. And instead, at 11 o'clock in the morning, we're taking her over, which was the last time I got to hold my baby in my arms. And if there's something I'm kicking myself for in any way, shape, or form in this, it was the decision not to step in there, just to I'll explain in a minute. So, she gets there, and I'm not going to beat up too much. The care facility is wonderful. The staff is wonderful. I feel the doctors in this particular situation, every single one I talk to, kind of put this in a perspective of she wasn't worth it. Everybody had to bring up her appearance, how bad she looked. Well, bitch, she looked like that, like, fucking all the time. Like, she looks like that. And that's a non-gender term. I say that to inanimate objects. It's meant to be sarcastic, and it's probably inappropriate, so I'm sorry. Because I actually meant that towards the male doctor. But anyway.
You're fine.
So he's on the phone with me, and he's telling me, like, okay, well, this is coming up, this is doing better. But she had to go back on oxygen, and then to find out hours later, well, she just crashed, and we had to intubate her when we took her off oxygen. Okay, so we leave her on oxygen. But I'm worried that she's getting worse. I'm worried that the pneumonia is getting worse. Okay, she has pneumonia? Well, we don't know. How do you not know? Oh, well, we've taken 4 x-rays now. We can't find pneumonia, but it's progressively getting worse. Figure that shit out, okay? And, he's constantly talking to me about, like, we're doing what's best for her. And I said, well, doctor, is she fine in the oxygen? Well, yeah. Is she in pain? Well, no. There's your fucking answer right there. Sorry. I'm a little bit frustrated and passionate about this. I had the phone call last night at 9 o'clock, at 9:30 at night, 9:30 on the dot. I get a phone call from care, and this is, honest to God, the doctor's, this is how she sounded. Hey, Mr. Humphreys, this is Kara calling about the update on Ponie. Oh, okay. How you doing? Okay, good. I'm just calling to let you know, Ponie arrested 5 minutes ago. I'm sorry, what? She arrested 5 minutes ago. Oh. Well, we're trying to get her back now. Wait a minute, why the fuck are you on the phone with me? Like, the way that they could give a shit about her, just the doctors themselves, it literally felt like, okay, this isn't a pristine St. Bernard or, a champion Rottweiler or something from the ACC Kennel Club. It's a 2-pound dead-looking rat. Why the hell are we wasting our time working on it? That's the way they made me feel. And that pissed me off so bad, guys, you have no idea. I didn't even get a chance, between that and some moron blabbing this out to where I had to post this last night instead of today. And I didn't want to address you guys until today. I wanted to do this properly, and I had to put the post up last night because somebody ran their mouth. And I'm sorry for that. It should have been a more proper post for my baby girl. So, but anyway, through this whole thing, I truly believe that she could have kicked it. I was just hoping she'd hold on long enough. We're at a catch-22. If she did in fact have pneumonia, she'd have to get over that before she could undergo surgery. So this is what I'm trying to figure out. Like, how long does she have to stay? God, if I could have gotten her to care or down to my facility a day or so earlier, maybe this could have been different. I don't know. I don't know if I made the right decision or not. I do know this though. I'm very hurt because of this whole damn COVID protocol. And no place in the state of Maryland is the same. You got one restaurant where you can't eat, one restaurant you can, one bar you can go to, one bar you can't, one fast food you have to go drive through only, one fast food you can sit in a restaurant. Like, make up your damn minds and make it all consistent, because my vet allows me in the mornings. Not everybody, they'll do curbside service, but when it's an actual appointment where you need to discuss something with a vet or a possible emergency, they let you in. The care facility, the emergency facility, nobody gets in, period, whatsoever. The only way they would arrange for me to come in and see Ponie is if they took her out of the oxygen tent, and at that point, I'm like, I wanted to see her quality of life, to see that she was still fighting, and maybe I would have made a decision to let it go sooner. And that's something I'm going to have to struggle with. But I chose not to go in there because as much as I wanted her to see me, and hopefully she'd get a kick in the ass and say, okay, Daddy is still, he hasn't left me, let's keep fighting, because that's what I'm afraid part of it could have been. I was robbed of that opportunity because of this damn protocol and through this facility and through this COVID shit. And again, so I got a lot of anger about this at myself, at all the players involved. But at the end of the day, she was old, she was fragile. She was not in perfect health, even though all her organs were great. I mean, you guys see, she's clearly, she's had a rough life, man. And it's just like,
She's still life of the party.
she's still the life of the party. She gave me hope every day. And she did exactly what I said she did. She went out on her own terms. I don't feel guilty whatsoever for keeping her alive. She was eating. She was coherent. It was just that her little larynx couldn't keep up. And when it collapsed, it basically wore the heart out pretty damn fast. And that's how she tanked. So she was a spark in my life, and I hope all of yours too. And I'm just sorry that I couldn't do more. I couldn't be there more for her. I couldn't make up for the things that have been done. So I'm sorry, baby. So thank you guys. I'll start getting back tomorrow. I'm gonna take the rest of the day off. I hope that's okay.
That's fine.
I'll see you guys tomorrow.